find your own voice, lead from within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray. How are you, Amanda?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to today's topic. And it's nice, bright and early here, so good. It's a good day.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So the topic today is how to reframe your mindset for growth and peace. Your life often follows the direction of your mindset. The way you think about yourself, your future, your failures, your relationship, and your struggles shapes the quality of your peace and the level of your growth. A negative mindset keeps people trapped in fear, doubt, comparison, bitterness, emotionally exhausting. But a renewed mindset creates strength, clarity, healing, wisdom, confidence, and purpose. So, guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I pinched this topic on Amanda's blog. And I'm gonna let Amanda really explain to you guys why she wrote that blog regarding the mindset and which has led us to this topic today. Over to you, Amanda.
Yeah, well, when I was writing my blog, I had this like goal of writing for 52 weeks, and that each week I was going to blog something, and it had to be around seeing the abundance all around you in your life, and how could you be grateful and hold space and gratitude for the wonderful life that you are living. And sometimes I think we often forget to be like grateful for what we already have, and to feel like that sense of gratitude and that sense of abundance when we're like feel like we're not where we want to be quite yet. Because if you look at your life right now, you are in a space where somebody else is like, oh, I just dream to have what that person has right now. And sometimes even people who you don't even know or realize are like watching you with what you're doing in your life, and they're like, wow, I wish I had some of that in my life. And even a friend of mine the other day, she was like, I just am so jealous of your life right now. And because I'm like single mom, I have just me and my daughter, and like her life's a little bit chaotic right now with her husband and blended family and everything. And she's like, I just miss that. I miss having just like me and my son in my space by ourselves. and and I took a step back, because in some ways I had been jealous of her for like certain reasons, not like jealous, but like also like, oh, I wish I had that in my life too. And when you hear somebody say like, oh, I wish I had your life, sometimes I was like, no, you don't. Being single is hard. Being in a relationship is hard. Like, pick your hard, right? But I have created this very wonderful sense of peace in my home, where it is just me and my daughter, and we have a very stable, calm, wonderful, warm space. Well, it's not warm right now. I was just telling you I got air conditioning in, and it's definitely working. But even that mindset of like growth and peace is sometimes recognizing like the good that you have in your life, and recognizing the good that other people have in their lives, and being grateful for the space that you're in, and being able to reframe your mindset to be like, okay, where can I see growth? Where can I see peace? And you even bringing up my blogs, I'm like, oh, I haven't been writing. I've been just really like working out and taking care of my daughter and taking care of my house, and I haven't been writing or blogging as much as I was before. And that growth piece is pushing me back towards, hey, remember, you need to start writing again. So thank you for these little gentle nudges, because I said maybe once school's over, because I'm a teacher, I'll start writing again in the summer.
I know I was enjoying your blogs because you added my email. And
Mhm.
all of a sudden they stopped. I was like, now I'm starting looking for them. So I like Amanda when you say your friend looks at your life and say, I wish I had your life, and you say you don't, because the people they don't know, they see the beauty of life, but they don't know what you have to go through to create that space, that growth, and that peace. And I think at the end of the day is becoming aware of your current thinking before you can change your mindset is really, really important to first notice what you are thinking. Because many people live on autopilot, repeating the same negative thoughts every day without realizing those thoughts are actually shaping their emotions, choices, and confidence. What you're saying that you had to create a space of peace in your own home. I had to do the same as well, just to create that space, that growth. And I'm always like telling my family that you have to create your own life, because if you don't, no one will create, no one will give you that peace. So it's just you having that awareness, not judging yourself, and waking up and recognizing that your thoughts are helping you. Me, I'm always have earphones. When my negative thoughts, Amanda, come to play, I talk to myself, I redirect myself to positivity. And I think sometimes people think I'm on my phone, or sometimes I do challenge my thoughts. But I really admire you when you say you have created a space for you and your daughter, because being a single mom it ain't easy. It's not an easy road, but it's just when you switch your mindset, because enjoying it, because you're enjoying spending time with your daughter, and which I've never met a parent who actually so proud and enjoying a singleness. Single moms, some of them always complain it's lonely, is this, but I've never ever ever hear you complaining. The day, I think the day you find that man of your dreams is the day that I'm just gonna be like, you have enjoyed your singleness, girl.
Mm.
Because yeah, I'm not sure if you're realizing it, but you're honoring it, you're enjoying it, and unapologetic in loving the space with your daughter. I just love that.
Well, I think that's one thing, like, when I even look at, like, relationships in general, I'm like, I look at, okay, my daughter is 15 years old, and I need to get her to 18 at least, to get her, like, so that she's an adult in the government's eyes, I guess. And so my goal is, like, how do I create that safe, like, warm space and consistent space from now until then? And so I've always, like, had just like an open door policy with, like, her friends and stuff like that too. So her friends are always, almost always, allowed over, and things like that. And even on the weekend, she had like 4 teenagers over for like most of the day on Saturday. And if I had somebody in my life, I'd have to, like, ask, is that okay if they come over? And I don't want to have to ask. I want to just it be like, well, this is my house. This is the openness that I have with her and her friends, because I would rather have them here than wandering the streets, or wandering at somebody else's house where I don't know what's going on. And so at least when I know that they're here, I can keep an eye on them, because there's no alcohol in my house or anything like that. So I know they can't really get into trouble here. Because they're like, what are you going to do? Mix the orange juice in the milk? Like, there's nothing that they can really get into that's really terrible here. So I look at that and I'm like, and I would rather have them here and than at the mall or somewhere else. And so I don't want to have to ask. And I think that growth mindset, and a lot of people struggle with being single. And I think one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is be single for a while, and really get to know who you are and what you're looking for, and what are your, like, hell yeses and what are your hell nos. And then how do you show up for that, and how do you hold space for different times in your life? And I think at some point in time I will really love to have somebody in my life, that can be either a good role model or that shows up after Ella's like out of the house, or maybe I move out because I let her rent the house out with her friends. I'm not really sure where I will go, but I always joke with her that I'll move out before she does. Like, you can rent out the 4 bedrooms. I'm out of here. I'm going to go travel and teach or something. Um, but I think that our growth mindset too is to be open to growing and to be open to what shows up in your life, and to really try to be like, where am I bringing more peace into my life? And I think everybody can bring peace into their life it throughout the day, on any day. And it could just be like taking a deep breath and like breathing when you're stressed and doing like mindfulness breathing techniques, or it could be cuddling with a pet that brings so much peace, or it could be noticing the beauty. Like even yesterday, I was saying before the show that my daughter has her grade 9 grad today, and I like went and got her some flowers yesterday so that before her grad we can take some pictures with some flowers if we want to. And she was just like so happy that I'd bought flowers that kind of matched her dress. And like that's a simple thing that just brings like more peace and joy into our life. And who would think that just like buying a simple bouquet of flowers would bring so much joy, right? And just peace. And I was just like, these look calm, and they would be good for the photos. And so you can bring peace into your life in lots of different ways. It can just be going for a walk, taking a deep, doing some breath work, grounding, which is like putting your feet on the earth. It's hard to do in Canada in the winter where I live, but in the summertime you can. And so just really reframing, like it's not always about the destination, it's about the journey. And I was talking with my friend at the gym yesterday, and he was saying that there's so many people that like just work through their whole life, and they just work, and they accumulate all this money so that they can retire, and then they retire and then they die within like 3 months because they've like lost their purpose, and they don't have like that joy, and that like, what is it that's getting you up in the morning? And I think that's something that Canadian and like American culture has like made retirement like the goal and the destination, when it's really, it should be like the day-to-day life and the journey that is the things that are the most important. It's those little things in life that make for a joyful life, and those like happy routines that you have, and the things that just bring joy into each and every day. And it could be like a warm cup of tea in the morning can bring a little bit more peace into your life too. What do you think, Nomza? What are things that you bring into your life each and every day that help with reframing your life for like peace and calm? And then also, what steps are you taking towards bringing growth into your life?
For me, what brings peace into my life is spending time with God and spending time with my family as well. Like you say, people work and work, and then at the end of the day, they die without even enjoying that money. Like my cousin, the one that passed away with his daughter, he had just finished building a big mansion, and he's never going to live in that mansion. And so I think that is really, really important for us to work and work. And at the same time, remember who we are. Like you said, life is a journey, not a destination. And to remember the journey where we are going. No one knows how our tomorrow is going to look like. So for me, I just love spending time with God. It gives me peace. And when I'm not doing anything, that's why I say to people, never ever compare, like you were saying, compare your life with anybody, because you don't know that person to be able to find that peace. You don't know what they have to do, the things they have to do. Like for me, I like 3 a.m. 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. I'm spending time with God in the mornings. and then I go back to sleep at 4 a.m. So when you find Nomsa smiling, Nomsa, she's happy, and you want to compare your life with me, that's a torture. So that's why I never allow anybody to compare their life with my life because, like you say, you can spend time walking. I love walking. I love dancing. The different things that I love to do. I love reading. And when I'm not working, I just spend time and sit there. My daughter will sit there and she'll be doing her art. And I'll be sitting there because sometimes you have to show interest to the children that you are interested in what they do. So I'll be asking questions about her art and stuff. Sometimes if she has enough of me, she kicks me out. Because, Mommy, I need peace, quiet time. I'm like, okay. Then I'll go to a different room. So sometimes I get kicked out. So, and then I go to my quiet place. In this room, everyone sits there in their quiet place. And then there's times where we all sit together and just do some lifestyle check, what everyone has been up to and things like that. It brings me joy. Like when I work, Amanda, my work stays at work. I don't talk about work in the house. I just leave it there. If there's someone who's annoying me or there's stress, I hand it over to God and say, God, deal with it. Or I talk to somebody when I talk to somebody, and that's it. I think you are right when you say people spend time achieving things they want to achieve, but they don't really get that time to enjoy what they are achieving. So I think that is really, really important to really work on your mindset um, and also understand your failure as well. As teachers, some people they think that when they failed in something is the end of the story. But for me, failure is my classroom. Every mistake teaches me something. And timing as well, discipline. I know that whatever the mistake or whatever the challenges that I go through is God's timing and God is teaching me something. And sometimes I sit down and talk to God and say, show me, what are you teaching me with this challenge that I'm going through? So it's all those things. What I'll say just in a simple way is you have to teach yourself to enjoy your life and give peace and growth. I don't know, how do you actually, as a teacher, Amanda, because you guys, teachers, are very, very good. I always thought maybe it's just my idea because my dad was a teacher. My dad was good. I don't want to lie to you, like his setting mindset wise, and he was a teacher. But then I watch another one of the guys, the professors channel, he said, if you want to reframe your mindset and you want to set up goals properly, hang out with the teacher. And I was like, yes, he's right.
Yeah, well, teachers are really good at seeing like where people's strengths are, right? And so we each have very different strengths. And my one friend sent me this Instagram thing yesterday, and we were talking a little bit, and it was like, I forget what it was called specifically. It was called something about how the just most entrepreneurs are like the most entrepreneurs were probably the difficult kids in the classroom, and and I was like, "You're right, like, they are," and I think it's a good thing, and I think people should embrace that, but I also, think that the school system is not really set up for people who think outside the box. It's set up for people who just follow the rules and listen and do what they're told, and those are the kids that are quote unquote successful in school, but that's not what real success is in real life. And that's something that I think the system has to really look at and reframe, and how do we change the system so that those disruptive kids are actually allowed to shine. Because then it went on to talk about, like, if you were that kid, you probably had ADHD, but you could also hyper focus on something that you were interested in. And it wasn't that you had like attitude problem or a disruption problem. It's that you had an interest problem. And once you get interested in something, then you can hyper focus, and you could do that for hours and like not even eat. And I do know kids like that. And I always think they're just so amazing. And I was saying, I have some kids even in my class like that almost every year, but definitely one this year where writing a sentence is like really hard, but then they're like my little tech genius that just anything that I need tech wise, I'm just like, go ask this person. Because that's what their strength is. And that's where I'm like, okay, let's just promote growth there. I'm like, I can't mark him on this in his writing on how brilliant he is because he can barely write a sentence, but he's brilliant in other areas. And I think the hard part about school is that it puts everybody into little boxes and all of the pieces of intelligence into little boxes, and that's not how we are as humans. And so we need to look at where are our strengths, and then how can we promote those strengths in the different areas of life. And so much of life is not something you can mark in school, and so much of our success in life is not based on how you're graded in school. And I think that's something that is really important to instill in children, is like growth is about what is very personal, and what works for me is not going to work for you. And what works for my friend who sent me that, who's a very very successful entrepreneur, but barely passed high school, and asked his parents actually if he could quit high school multiple times because he's like, I'm never going to use any of this. This is useless. And for him, he's absolutely right. All of high school was completely useless for him because none of it had anything to do with anything he was interested in. And he did complete high school, but he has gone in to build a very successful multi-million-dollar business. And school was really boring for him. And I know exactly why. And even when we were going through COVID, one of his sons got suspended from online school. And I laughed so hard, and I was like, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I was like, your kid's bored is what the problem is. I'm like, he's smarter than the teacher and he's bored, just exactly the same as you were. I'm like, he's the exact same as you were. You were smarter than the teachers lots of the time, and you were bored out of your mind. And so then you start doing silly things to purposely like get in trouble because you're like bored, and you get attention in this other way. And that's what you did as a child too. And so I'm like, how is it that you could get your kid to either just like skip those classes because they can read the content and do the work and do just fine, and do something that's going to go and interest them in a different area, especially because we're doing at home learning. Like, how do you get suspended from online learning? That friend's kid. But that friend became a multimillionaire from not doing well at school. And so our growth mindset always has to be around like, what is it that our interests are in, and how do I become the best version of myself with the strengths that I have? And some people's strengths have nothing to do with school at all. And I think that's something that's really important. And so my question for the schooling system is, how do we then find ways to inspire those kids so that they don't feel unsuccessful, so that we don't block them by the school system, and make it so that they're not successful later on in life? Or maybe how bored they are in school actually helps them become more successful in life, because they're like, I'm going to prove all of those teachers wrong. Right. And that becomes their like life mission, to like, I'm going to prove that teacher wrong, that I am going to be successful. And I think that's something that's really important too, is to really like, where's your drive coming from? And different people's drives come from different spaces, right? So your drive comes from something different than my drive does. My drive comes from like wanting to help kids like my friend um, who was in school and hated school. And I look at it as like one of the reasons I'm a teacher is because I was friends with all of these people growing up who just like despised school. And I was like, I feel like you could make it so much better for those kids to make it more interesting, especially at the young ages. I don't know how you make it more interesting in high school other than giving them more option classes than the like core curricular classes.
I wasn't the best at school. Honestly, if if you put me music, I'll do well. Put me acting, I'll do well. But with the class, I just get bored listening to the teachers talking the same thing over and over. And then I'm sitting there trying to remember it all. And then when I go to uni, I can't even remember what I've learned at high school. So I actually agree with you. Sometimes I think our creativity comes from what drives us. For me, I know I'm very, very creative. Like if you give me to work out some things, I'll just look at you and think, okay, have you gone mad? But if you give me things to sort out the problems, yeah, I will just put together things and sort out the problems. So I, in my class, there were kids that were the best. When I look at them, I'll say they're the best, but I'm not in the same level as them. They were the best, but that ended there in the class. And I knew that if you put me on stage, if you put me to do this, I get creative and produce something for you. But staying in the class and writing maths, if I say I was the best, I'll be lying to you. Um, but now if I go to the class, now my mindset is different. If I go to the class, I work out things and I wouldn't be interested anyway. I'll be interested in going to the boardroom and just watching everybody making ideas, letting everybody speak. And then when they're finished, I combine all their ideas and I make my idea and bring one idea. So that's what I would do. So, but you are right when you say everybody is different. We're all different. My sister was awesome in the class. I was in the same classes with her. My older sister, we are 1 year apart. I always ask myself, ask her over and over, what happened to you? Amanda, she was good in maths. She was good in English. Any subject, that girl, she was awesome. But then now I ask, I think she would have been an engineer or something. Now I ask her what happened, because you were actually the clever one as well, but she doesn't give me the answer. So I don't know somehow what happened, but she was the best. So it shows that our creativity is different. My oldest one, I'm not sure, and she should go for test. She's a child that is good at everything. You give her something, she will just get on with it without complaining. So I think that is really, really important. And also to let go of perfectionism when we are dealing with our mindset, because sometimes wanting to be perfect, it can create pressure, it can create anxiety, and also it can make us believe that if something is not perfect, it is not valuable. But growth is not about perfectionism. Growth is about becoming better. You don't have to figure out. For me, the attitude that I have, Amanda, is I don't have to figure out things before I begin. That's where God comes in. I have to allow myself to learn, to improve, to adjust, and try again. I like it when you say we need to look at our strength and our interest as well. And you mentioned that where our drive comes from as well. I think that is really, really important, because when you create peace, peace comes when you stop demanding perfectionism from yourself and beginning to honor the progress of what you are becoming. And that's what helps me as a human being to say, understand that I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. And God is there to guide me through life. Every decision, whatever I need to do, I know that I need to trust the process. I need to trust the decision, my decision. I need to trust that God is working with me. And I need to trust that I have. And also, yesterday I mentioned this, the people that around you, they play, they are the critical component of how your tomorrow is going to look like. If you don't have the right people around you, and that can destroy your mindset, because to reframe your mindset, I know I can pick up the phone if I'm stuck with something and talk to you. You are in Canada. I can go on WhatsApp and talk to you. If I get stuck, I can talk to Carol Ann or Shireen or Grant. It's just these people that, and there are some other people as well, Pastor Henry and everything. I know that there are these people, I'm surrounded by good people. And so that brings peace. Like for you and your daughter, you have these good friends that you have selected because you trust them. And you also know that whatever they do, they act on your best interest as well. So I think that is really, really important. Our surroundings and finding that peace. Who are we surrounded? What kind of people are around us? That is really, really important. But now the question is, Amanda, how were you able to, because it's your daughter having a child, is you have to be really, really protective, and you're a teacher as well. How were you able to select these friends that you were like, these, I love being these people with these people in my life, and I choose them for me. So how were you able to, your mindset to, where was your mindset when you were able to make that decision where you can find peace? Because peace is important.
I think that it's always like just something that I've been searching for, right? Is once when I was married and living in like complete chaos, my only goal afterwards was
Giving
to get,
values.
it was complete chaos. Like I'm pretty sure that um my ex-husband has narcissistic personality disorder, which narcissism gets thrown around a lot, that word, and there everybody has narcissism to a certain degree, but then there are the extremes, and I can't diagnose because I'm not a medical doctor, but I do can check every box on lists around narcissism with what I experienced. And so when I look at the chaos that I was living in, my only goal was to be like in control of my finances and in control of my space and having a very like open and welcoming space that, and then just even building like my yard. The other day I was working in my garden in the front, and I was digging out some perennials so that I could take pieces of them to the school with me so that we could plant them in the school garden, because the school garden's a disaster. And um the little neighbor walked by, and he's like 5 with his dad, and he was like so upset because I was literally digging out like big chunks of irises and this other plant, and I took them out of the garden, and he was like mortified. And he was like, my son really likes your flowers. He's like, what are you doing to your flowers? I'm like, don't worry, I'm just taking pieces of them. I'm just like splitting them up. This is something you're supposed to do to them, is you split them up every couple of years and you can take pieces, and I'm taking pieces to the school. I promise you I will put it all back and it will look nice again. But it's just like that sense of peace is even like in my garden, right? And there's enjoyment of the garden from the people around you. And so, and then I thought about it. I'm like, when I go on a walk around my neighborhood, there's certain yards that I'm like, oh, I just love that yard because they've made it so beautiful. And then there's certain yards too where over the years, because I've lived here for a number of years now in this community, God, like 17 years, I think. And there's certain yards that were absolutely beautiful for years, and then obviously the owners changed, and then it hasn't been taken care of the way it was before with that love and care and compassion. And so that sense of peace from those certain yards that you can see into along some of the paths, it changes over time. And so my one of my peace spaces is my yard and my garden. And so that finding that space of peace, like it's so simple. It's like it's my garden, right? I spent almost all day in my garden and in my yard on Saturday and Sunday this weekend, just like working because it's springtime and I had to do like a spring cleanup and then plant my flowers and plant my garden and my vegetables and all of the things. And so that sense of peace comes from something like from nature, and you can bring nature into your space through gardening. And even if you live in a condo, you could bring nature into your space by putting some planters on your like deck or something on your, what are they called, balcony, right? So that reframing your space for peace, it can be even just having like this like calming space in your home. So maybe there's like a corner of your home where you're gonna in like religious spaces it would be called like an altar or something like that, but their mind calming space is actually my office area where I have like, you can see I have like a big cozy chair and I have my yoga mat. And then on the other side, I have like a bookshelf and it's got all my books. And so this is a very like cozy, calming space by design, right? And that growth comes from designing spaces intentionally.
I
You
love that. I love that you spend the time in your garden. I have to come and
Mhm,
have a look at this garden anyway. I've seen a glimpse of your garden. It looks really nice.
mhm,
Yeah, for me, I just spend time. If I'm not spending time with God, I'm spending time writing my music, creating my dance music, because I have to create my own music. So if I'm not doing that, that means I'm with God. That's my spare time or doing other things, different things. I love that. And taking these kids to wherever they want to go. Just spending time with my family as well, because I just love my family.
mhm,
And I was talking to my friend the other day. We went to her birthday party, and I spent time talking to her uncle. And then she was telling me that after the birthday party, they had loads of leftovers food because they did their own catering. So I spent almost 2 hours getting rid of food, trying to get everybody to carry food home, putting it in containers and stuff. And there were some of them where they're like, Domsa, we don't want food, but because you're so nice, we're gonna take it. But apparently helped later. And she was telling me that he's passed away. And I said to her, you know, sometimes it's nice to give yourself peace with people because when we meet or when we sit down, we don't know when our life will end. We don't know when God is taking us. And we were there talking to him, but his death had already been marked. And I said, now you understand my perspective of life, where I go and refuse to be nasty to anyone and just love people. And you guys think I'm weird. So I was asking, and she goes, I think your perspective of life, actually, I'm adopting it because I was like, look at now, we were laughing, we were talking to him, but his was well, there was nothing wrong with him. And we didn't know that in a few weeks' time, his death, he will be gone. So I said I think this topic is really, really important. Mindset growth and giving yourself a peace to actually value your life. Your life is really important. Like I said, I admire your life, Amanda, how you are embracing your singleness. And one of the pastors shared a video and saying people think if being single is like they treat being single like a disease. And then I was thinking the same thing, and I was like, they don't know that every second that they are living on their own, they never gonna get it because sharing toilet with somebody is annoying. Most men, they leave the seat up, and you're like, down. Why can't he now? He's gone to work, and you're like, why can't he just learn to put the seat down? And when you're on your own, you don't have to go through all these things. It's that season where people don't enjoy it. But I think you have to embrace every season of your life. Embrace it, whatever God brings it, the situation that is presented to you, embrace who you are becoming, embrace the person, and just bring that peace. Even when you feel that there's struggles in your life, you can shift your mindset and give yourself peace, give yourself growth, because all these people that people admire, somehow they made a decision. I made a decision to love God, and I made a decision that I'm not going to waste my time complaining and mourning. I just have gratitude of my life. I'm so grateful. When I get up in the morning, I look at my children, I look at my family. I'm so grateful. Go to the kitchen, and I'm like, some people don't have what I have. Maybe making drinking water. I'm so grateful. I go to the bedroom and put my feet up whenever I want. I'm like, I'm so grateful for this life. And I go to the office. The other day, I took my daughter to the office, and I'm watching her. She's eating because they we buy food and put it on the table, different food, and she's sitting there. She's offering food, and I'm thinking, isn't it nice just to be a child where you don't have to worry about anything? So it's just really, really nice to give yourself peace. In Africa, for me, I grew up where I was taught just to be happy. And you find myself climbing trees and just I'm happy. And you find the people that have money, they are worrying about how they're going to spend that money, how they're going to do this, how they're going to do this. But for me, I was taught just to enjoy life. My grandmother was like, Nomsa, enjoy life, become who you want to become by in the process. Enjoy life. And people think I'm weird because I'm always happy, but that's what it is. Happiness is found within, Amanda. It's not found through finances. It's not found through, because God lives within us. So me, I just know that God is within me, and I'm just enjoying that process, working with Him, doing the things that I love to do. And dancing, sometimes people see me dancing and they're like, what's wrong with her? It's a happiness within me. I can't, I cannot deny my happiness. How do you, yeah, you said you give yourself peace through the gardening, is it? Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, I went I my weekend was just going to the gym and then spending a ton of time in my garden, and it was a lot of work
Which
to get
one do you love the most? Because I know you do yoga,
Mhm.
gardening, and gym. Which one is your favorite out of everything?
Well, I don't really have a favorite. There's different like spaces for different things, right? Like if my back's really bugging me, then I get my butt to yoga.
Okay, so you're just like me, just
And
enjoy what you do.
the gym
Okay.
is more like it just works because I can go at any time of the day, and I have some friends there, and it's just a nice, good, positive space to be in. And then like the garden is just like when I'm at home, that's my like happy place, right? Is like when I can be outside in the garden, or but especially in Canada where like half of the year you can't really spend time in your garden because it's cold and it's snowy and it's all covered up. And so having that time and space is like there's times where you get to just appreciate that, right? When you're like, okay, it's this time for growth, it's spring, it's like a new refresh and reset. And then there's that time, then you go through the summer where everything blossoms, and then it's time to like clean up and get ready for fall. And then there's that like rest time too. And then one of the things I really love to do is going to the mountains and to hike. And when you're hiking, it's not always necessarily about like getting to that peak, right? It's about just like the journey along the way, and the exercises you're getting. Because you could easily just like get a helicopter and fly yourself up there and be like, oh yeah, this is great. And then like get a helicopter back down. But it's not about getting to the peak. It's about that like that journey that you take all the way up, and that what you put your body through to get there, right? And who you're spending that time with by doing that. And I just also how much better you feel being out in nature. And so sometimes I think our growth mindset needs to be around like, how can I bring more calm and peace and contentment into my life? It's not always I'm striving for this goal at the end of the day. It's how am I bringing these things into my life every single day? How am I bringing in how I think I would feel if I was a millionaire into my day to day, right? And so like I have friends who are millionaires, and they go to work and they do their things the same way that all the rest of us do, and they and and their focus still is on like on their business because that's their passion, that's the thing that they built and they're proud of, and they're getting up for each and every day. Because if they didn't have that to get up for, they'd be bored. And I've asked my one friend, I'm like, why don't you retire? He's like, I'd be so bored. I like the challenge. I like being able to work through things. I really like what I do. And I think that's something that we really need to, I don't know, in Europe, is like retirement like a goal for people, or is it like they is finding joy and like something that you really like to do more the goal? Is it like, because I find sometimes here it's like the goal seems to be retirement, but I don't feel like that should be the goal. I feel like it should be enjoy your life along the way and make sure that you're always like finding ways to grow, but not always just this like one end destination. And I think other people have a different mindset here, and I think sometimes that's what ruins our peace.
I think it's the same thing even in this country as well. Some people they make it retirement as their goal, but some people they enjoy their life in the process because there are some people who have been through so much in life and they're like, I have to enjoy my life because if I don't, then you don't enjoy it. And even that retirement, when you make it a goal, sometimes some people they don't really make it. Like my father-in-law, he was really excited of his retirement. The day he retired is that's the day he had a stroke, and now he's gone. He didn't enjoy his money that he's worked all his life. So I think you're right that retirement shouldn't be a goal, but people make it a goal. Uh, you have some people, but the area where I live, people are driven here. There's lots of celebrities. There's lots of people, business people have like international businesses. Some have businesses in South Africa, and they are all driven, enjoying life, and they are very nice as well, very they motivate you. And at the same time, they enjoy life. And one of the girls, my friend, her child minder's daughter, because she's been working for them for a long time. So they worked so hard. And then the children are older now, they go to boarding school and stuff, university. And they went to buy this huge house. And the girl just looked at her and said, "What's the heck? The house, what are you going to do with this house?" And when the goal, like when in your mind, you're like, "I'm going to retire. I have a big house, but I need even huge here." So then, because I think it was always the desire, the goal to have it. And now she has a big house. She goes, "Mm-mm. It's been a goal for me to get a big house, but I don't think I like it. It's too expensive, too much maintaining and stuff. Because if a swimming pool is huge, you have to maintain it and stuff." So I think it's just having that enjoyment and just enjoying life. And you can enjoy life in so many ways. Like for me, I'm a Christian. I've got my own ways where I enjoy life, and people can enjoy, you can find that peace as well. Although sometimes people say, "Nomsa, you are so weird." And I'm like, I'm not so weird. I figured that out, that being too serious, it does not take me anywhere. So I think it just, like you say, Amanda, you are happy when you are at the gym. You are happy when you're doing your yoga. You are happy when you are doing your gardening. I think when you find those things that make you happy, I think that's important. For me, I'm happy when I'm reading. I'm happy when I'm creating my music. I'm happy when I'm dancing. And I'm happy when I'm spending time with my family and fasting and cleansing my life. I just do things that makes me happy. So yeah, I think, what advice would you give someone who is like, "You guys don't understand. I try to find peace, but the problems piles up. How can I find peace?"
I think with anything, it's like whether you think you can or you think you can't. Yeah, right. Right. So much of it is our mindset and how we choose to look at things and how we choose to show up each and every day. And then also, how do we, when we are getting into those panic states of it's not working, nothing's working, I'm stressed out, how can we reframe our mindset for growth and for peace? And so how can you, when things don't feel like they're working out, how can you trust that they really are working out for your highest interest and what's best for you? And so I think that that's something too, is to reframe your mindset to like everything's always working out for my highest good, and keep telling yourself that everything's always working out for my highest good, no matter what the situation is. Say you get fired from a job, it could be that was a really good thing, right? Because that allows you to then be open for something else. So and a relationship ending is probably best for your highest good because something else better is going to come along when you choose to be open to it and choose to trust that this is part of your journey. And when we trust the space of our journey, anytime I've tried to like really like make things work with something that wasn't what's right for me, you just keep running into roadblocks. But then when you're open to trusting that what the good that's coming into your life is continuously flowing into your life, then more good comes. And so I would really reframe your mindset and try to catch yourself every time you start digging yourself into this like hole of stress. Reframe it to like everything's working out for my highest good, and keep telling yourself that each and every day.
And it is, Amanda. This, you are right. It is. Um, I think we can, for me, when stress, I think stress has given up with me. when stress comes, I'm like, I cannot carry you stress. You go to God. You go. I cannot carry you. I completely disconnected. So for me, the ways of encouragement, guys, that I will live with is commit, trust the process of life, and trust God, like Amanda said. To not every delay is a denial. Not every closed door is a rejection. Sometimes life it prepares you for it protects you or redirecting you to a different direction. But trusting the process means believe that growth is happening. Even when you cannot see everything clearly, sometimes the most powerful thing happens quietly before they appear publicly. For me, I always trust God and He always come through for my aid. I just watch the process and also asking myself, what is this process teaching me? And whatever you desire in life, it always come to pass as long as you believe, you don't give up. Just believe, keep believing, and keep bringing peace to your life. So, Amanda, do you have any words of encouragement you want to leave with our audience?
I'm still on mute. Yeah, I think that whatever it is that shows up today, just keep telling yourself everything's working out for my highest good. And then also, if you find yourself like feeling stressed, work on some box breathing or some breathing techniques that you can do to really just like get settled and calm in your body and relax your shoulders back and take a deep breath and sit up straight, and then also maybe even start meditating or start just like looking for the good in your life. What is it that you're really grateful for? What is it that you've overcome that you're so proud of yourself for? And just keep reminding yourself of those things.
If you're watching us from YouTube, please do subscribe to our channel. And we were live at Pastor Henry's channel as well, so you can go and subscribe to his channel as well. And we have two groups. Please do join the groups: Unique Billionaire Mindset and Gossip Talk Shows. Follow Amanda on Instagram, her page as well. And are you on LinkedIn? Are you, Amanda? Yeah, she's on LinkedIn as well. Please do follow her and go to the website as well. Is hopespringeternally.com. Sign up. If you want Amanda to coach you, please do. You can request it. There's the different coaches on the website. So any coach you relate to, you can fill out the inquiry form and send it through me. God bless you. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm on my own tomorrow and Friday. And